How about your name and where are you located at?
Nikki, and I'm in Las Vegas right now.
How long have you lived there?
Well, I was born and raised here. I live in Arizona, but I came to stay with my dad for a little bit.
How about this? I pulled up a video I wanted to show you. Can I show you a video and see and tell me
Sure.
what you think about it? Okay.
How about I go to the gym and I choose to do hard things because of the experience that doing hard things is in and of itself, detached from the outcome. Whether I get a reward for doing a hard thing. Now, I agree with you 100% that when you do hard things, there is a reward there that just doesn't happen for doing easy things. But what if we don't even look at the reward or the happiness or the value in the end product, the outcome? What if we dissociate from the outcome and we just go into the gym and we tackle hard things because we are into the experience of doing hard things?
Yeah.
I agree. It makes a different man out of you. It makes a different person out of you. And I think that's a very, very good reason to do it.
A friend of mine sent that to me and he was saying it like, oh, hey, look at this. This is super cool. And I was like, oh, yeah, actually, it completely reminded me of what you said as far as doing hard things. And ever since I heard you say do hard things, and I would see like it's just inspired me a lot because I've had to learn how to do some hard things myself these last couple of years. I had gotten to the point where I was starting to become homebound because I was getting so heavy and moving so little, and to start breaking free from being homebound was, it's a place that no one ever thinks they'll ever get to. And then all of a sudden you start finding yourself sliding and sinking into it. And to break free is so hard to do. And I've seen you break free from being, I mean, I haven't been with you your entire journey, but I know that it had to become near almost impossible to do so many things that you've taken back in your life. And where did you come up with that phrase, do hard things? How did you find that phrase?
Well, when I started my journey at 730 pounds, everything that I did was hard. Um, so I was just like, I was telling myself, do hard things. And before I knew it, I had said, do hard things. Everybody has a hard. It doesn't matter if you're overweight, whatever you're facing in life, everybody has a hard. And every time I would try to do something, I would just be like, do hard things because that's what I'm doing. And you can change your life by that because in the end, you matter. Nobody else matters but yourself. So if you do that hard thing, you're going to put all your work into it. And sometimes when we do hard things, that hard thing is not so hard anymore.
What brought you to the place where you begun to start doing hard things again? Did you have a particular like epiphany, or was it just a constant process of just learning how to get better at it? Like what caused the turnaround for you now that you said you've lost almost 350 pounds? Is that correct? What caused that? What caused a change in that?
I want to live. So when I was 730 pounds, I'm very short and 5 foot. My daughters like to tell me I'm 4'11", but my driver's license says 5 foot. So I am 5 foot.
I do the same
and
with 6 foot, by the way.
and so then I was given a couple months to live. I was crushing my body from the inside out. So my lungs were literally crushing and they were putting me on oxygen and my internal organs were failing. And so they told me I had a couple months to live. I was a single mom at the time and I had to make arrangements for my daughters. And my oldest daughter just started her job at the airlines and she heard of some products to help lose weight. And she brought me this brown box and she's like, Mom, try this. It's 30-day money back guarantee. So I was like, you're going to get your money back, of course. And I started putting this great nutrition in my body and it started changing. Then a couple months I was off of oxygen, which was great. That first year I lost 300 pounds. I put a lot of work in physically, but I didn't take care of the chaos in my head. So that was another hard thing I had to start facing. I have a food addiction. So it's not just like I can quit and you have to have food in order to eat. So it's a little bit different than drugs or alcohol or things like that. You need it to survive, but your body craves it just like an alcoholic or a drug addict. And so I was like, I've got to do this. I've got to make this change. I want to live. And of course, I went up and down, up and down. A lot of things happened during that time. Um, my mom died. I lost a baby. I was pregnant, lost a baby. My oldest daughter decided she was going to become a drug addict. I mean, just life, right? But how do we deal with life? Mainly, we deal with it, whatever's our comfort. So, food's my comfort. So, I turned back to food. I got back up to almost 600 pounds, and then back down, and then back up, and then back down. In the end of 2022, I was told that, in fact, there's a video out there that my heart was failing when they were giving me a year to live. My heart was completely shutting down at this point, and I had a year to live. And um, my daughter was getting married that February, and I was back up to 568 last year in the beginning of the year, and just looked miserable and was dying pretty much, right? So I was like, September, something just clicked again. And this time I was like, I've got to live. I got to do this. And so I reversed that. I went back in for the EKG. They had me on 9 different medicines. And he was like, I don't know what to tell you. You're a walking miracle. Your heart's completely clear. You're clear. You're ready to go. Well, how many chances does God give you at life, right? So you got to do that hard thing. So since then, I've lost like 173 pounds since September, and I'm going to keep going, because you have to. You gotta face the chaos in your head. That's one of the most hardest mentally things to do, and you've got to change your emotional, spiritual, and physical. It's not just about, oh, I'm going to quit eating these donuts or this big steak, mashed potatoes, and macaroni and cheese. It doesn't work that way. For some people, it might. However, for me, it's a lot of chaos I've had to do to get through those hard things. So I think those were the 2 turning points in my life. And I'm not one for chances and stuff, so I don't think I have 3. I'm not a cat, so I don't
Mm.
think I have like 9 lives kind of thing. So
Do you mind if I ask you, were you heavy as a child?
no.
No. When did
Well,
the heaviness start to add on in your life?
when I was a little child, I came to live with my father and my mom, but my biological mom, um, I was heavy. And so when I came, my mom and dad took me to the doctor, and I was probably around 5 or 6. And they said I had a thyroid problem at that time.
Hmm.
And so they put me on like a diet. Well, they did it kind of a cruel way. They'd let me fill my plate, and then they would cut it in half, and that's all I could eat. So I think psychologically that had something to do with it. Um, and a lot of my eating comes down to that issue, abandonment for my biological mom, and just things that were there. So then I was meant to be kind of this perfect human being, to look a certain way and be a certain way and conduct myself a certain way. And I really didn't have problems with weight until I became an adult. And then I don't know, things changed. I got pregnant, really didn't want to get pregnant, and was in a relationship that I didn't really want to be in, but tried to stay in for the kids. And, it was a lot cheaper for us to go to fast food. I never grew up on fast food. In fact, my mom, dad hardly took me to a fast food place. We never went to McDonald's or anything as a kid. We went out to eat, but we went to upscale restaurants. So when I got introduced to like Burger King, McDonald's, and all those things, I was like, wow. And ramen noodles were a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing, like growing up. SpaghettiOs, I had never had those, like the raviolis in the can, Kraft macaroni and cheese. We did not eat those things. We always had, you know, um, fresh fish and salad and vegetable, and you would have a piece of bread, and like we had a dessert with strawberry shortcake or upside down pineapple cake. It was all fresh stuff. And so I love the processed food, I learned. And that's where it started. And then when I got kind of heavy after I had my first daughter, I found out, they're only 20 months apart. I was pregnant again.
Hmm.
And that was another thing that messed me up pretty mentally. And I just ballooned and spiraled from there. And I always held a job my whole entire life. I was the breadwinner, and supported my girls. And so I didn't think there was anything really wrong with me. because I did work and made sure my girls were involved in, they went to a private charter school. I made sure that they were involved in soccer, ballet, whatever they wanted to do. I didn't attend a lot of those rehearsals, a lot of those plays, a lot of things like that. We did a lot of playing on my bed. We did a lot of playing on the couch, um, a lot of things like that. So, and we ate out a lot because it was more convenient for me to drive through a KFC, grab dinner, than it was for me to actually cook a meal. Because at that point, I was getting physically where I could barely do things.
How does it make you feel when you get these like moral judgments of you must be lazy and that's why you're heavy and stuff like that?
Honestly, it doesn't bother me. And the only reason why is because I know what I look like to the world, and I know that my addiction shows on the outside of my body. And everybody assumes that a morbidly obese person is lazy, and everybody has watched 600-pound Life, and they see those people, how they live their lives and how they don't do anything, and et cetera, et cetera. I may have dropped my kids off at the soccer field and couldn't walk to watch them play soccer very often, but I still tried to participate as best as I could. And so their comments don't bother me at all. There's a video out there right now of me getting up off the floor because some people had asked me, how do I get up off the floor? And um, that video has like over almost 11 million views.
Wow.
And there is some comments on there that
Mm.
people are like, da da this and so on and so on. And I responded back. Because I know what I look like to you, and that's fine. But I'm also happy where I'm at right now because when I was 730 pounds, I couldn't get on the floor to play with my kids. So to be able to get on the floor in my granddaughter's room and to help her clean it has been something that has been a huge blessing. But that's showing my friends and family, and especially the little ones that are watching me and my family, that you can kick any addiction. And even though my grandma is big, she still tried and she still helped and she made an effort. And, my grandson, who's 11, he was like, Grandma, you're getting small. Like, you're just getting small. I was standing in the fridge getting something out of the fridge for him. And he was like, Grandma, you're getting small. And he's a big 11-year-old. He wears the size men's 12 shoe. He's taller than me already. He plays football. He's going to be big, that made me feel good because he's recognizing what I'm doing. And, there's another video out there that my granddaughter was videotaping me getting stuff out of the fridge. We're getting ready to eat family dinner. And she's like, do hard things. Here's grandma. Do you know what I mean? So they're concepting that. So what the world perceives of me and these people that can't understand because I look different than what they are accustomed to, it doesn't bother me. Because in my heart of all hearts, I know where I came from and I know where I'm going. And the end, these people are going to be like, wow, she really changed her life. And maybe they'll think that they can change their life or do something different for themselves. Because when you put a hateful comment on people's feed or you're being mean to them, you're looking for some kind of reaction. It has nothing to do with me. You're looking
Mm.
for a reaction from the outside world. You want somebody to notice you at that point. So those comments are more about them. Their perception of me is more about them than what it is about me. And either way, I'm going to keep losing pound after pound after pound and getting healthier and healthier and healthier. And you're still going to be in that little bubble and be angry and trying to make other people feel like you feel.
Yeah, well said. I think I can learn a lesson or two from what you just said. I'm going to listen to that probably about 10 times. Um, on the other side of the spectrum, how it seems like and I don't know in this case which came first. I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg that came first. And I know I was teased. I was a heavy kid, so I was teased a lot as being a heavy kid. Um, what do you think about this new like counterculture movement where it's sort of love yourself at any size, fat is not a descriptive word. Fat is just, you're not fat. That's just, body positivity. Like where does like this healthy at any size body positivity? I know it's complicated. So I don't want to set myself up to sound like I'm completely advocating against this. I think we need to love our bodies and every body we're in. But where does this healthy at any size body positivity, how does all this new stuff resonate with you? Because it feels relatively new to me. I don't remember this being like 10, 20 years ago. It's okay to be, no food is bad food. It's okay to be in any body. You can be fit and obese at the same time. Like, how does that all pass through your filter?
I think it's just the perception of the person, actually. It's where the person is at mentally and how they're feeling. If you are happy at being morbidly obese and you feel that you're living a quality of life being morbidly obese, then by all means, love yourself. And, we're taught that, God loves us no matter what we look like, it's shape, size, color, whatever, right? We're gay, straight, whatever. He loves us. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so, yes, most definitely have that positive inside yourself that you look in the mirror and you say, dang, I am doing good today. I look good today, no matter if you're 700 pounds or you're 5 pounds. It doesn't matter. Love yourself, of course, because you have to have love within inside yourself in order to share it to other people.
Hmm.
So you have to be able to love yourself from the inside out in order to be able to help and service other people and to make the world just a pay it forward kind of world, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's just based on the individual. And I think some people may really be happy if they're, 500 pounds. They may really, go to Torrid and buy those clothes and look great and, do their hair and their makeup, and they might be functioning well because they're still young and they're out there, they go to the club. They're not dancing, but they go to the club and they do this and that, but they're happy, right? Because they're
Hmm.
telling themselves, I'm happy. I'm fulfilling myself with an emptiness of happiness,
Hmm.
because there's a way you can fill yourself with an emptiness of happiness, or you can have truly happiness inside your heart. And some people just put that emptiness inside their head and they think that they're filling that and they think that they're accomplishing that. But yet at the end of the day, they could be completely empty inside their heart. Therefore, they're going to tell themselves, no, I'm fine the way I am, because they don't want to make the changes. And some people may be fine the way they are. And there are some people out there that, yes, okay, my body is beautiful and so on and so on. Do I personally fall in that category? No, I do not find my body beautiful at all,
Hmm.
because I did this to myself and it's not beautiful to look at in my eyes. Okay. Doesn't mean they're not people out there, as I'm learning being on the internet, that find my body beautiful and they would really love me the way I am and want me the way I am.
Hmm.
But the thing is that I'm not comfortable the way I am. So
Hmm.
therefore, I don't have a body positive mind. So I have to continue to change until I get to where I think that I feel good completely 100% about myself and my heart is full. So I
Hmm.
think it's an individual preference. And I think that everybody has a different, thing. Some people really do feel great like that, and some people really don't. And I just think it's up to that individual of what you're feeling. And only you, at the end of the day, know your emotions.
Hmm.
Only you know what you're truly thinking, what you're truly feeling, and where you really are at mentally.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I mean, a lot of that is mindset, I suppose, because there's not a single moment out there that I can't, see all the spots I've damaged my body, right? Being too heavy and stuff like that. And but there's also days where I feel like, okay, well, you're feeling better, you're looking stronger. I guess it's for me personally, I just try to I know I can't get it all back, right? My
Mhm.
prime was probably around 24. I'll never get back to 24 again. But I've noticed nobody does, right? Nobody gets back
But
to 24
in the
again.
end, do you really want to go back to what you were? Because you're not that person mentally anymore either. You've
True.
lived life, you've had experiences, so
Hmm.
you can't go back. So to
Hmm.
say, oh, I'm going to go back to 17 at that 130 pounds that I was,
Hmm.
and I'm going to, be fit like I was and have the muscles in the body and so on and so on. That's impossible because I've lived
Hmm.
life. I'm
Hmm.
45 now. Do you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I have lived life. I've had 2 children. I've gone through challenges, and I'm not that person mentally. So there's no way.
Right.
I mean, our ultimate goal is to get back to 130 because that's where doctors want me and that's where my healthy weight is.
Hmm.
But I'm not going to be that person I was when I was 17, 18, or 19. Do you
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? So
Totally.
to say that you're trying to get back, you don't want to go backwards in life. You want to remember what you've done in life and what you've experienced, because you don't want to go down certain roads, right? Again. So we want to learn from our mistakes and press forward. And we don't want to repeat our mistakes. So you always keep those mistakes in the back of your mind,
Hmm.
right? Just like we keep the good memories in our heart, right? So that we don't go down that road again. But you definitely want to just keep pressing forward. So the new 130-pound girl that I'm trying to get to journey to 130 right now, is a different 130. Do you know what I mean? And she's going to be carrying extra baggage. And in some ways, I'm not going to be carrying any baggage because I'm
Hmm.
going to release so much that it's going to be a whole new me, a whole
Hmm.
new Nikki.
Hmm.
And I think that's where people misconcept, oh, I got to get back there. I got to get back there because when I was, like you said, 24, I was at my prime. I was good. I was feeling good. There's something that surrounds that age that makes you want to get back to that, but that's impossible. So
Right.
we have to press forward
Right.
because by the time I'm done, I'm going to be close to 50, right?
Hmm.
And so, I mean, I don't know what 46 looks like right now. I don't know what
Right.
47 looks like. Do you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you are going to feel better and better and better. And you're going to want to get to that new age because that's something that you're looking forward to
Yeah.
instead of looking backwards.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And to your point, like I don't have this sense of like there's only one perfect body and there's only one attractive body. I think people need to find love in their bodies wherever whatever body they're in. And that's that's typically where my mindset is. I'm not really one to sort of linger on all the negative thoughts. I try to keep it pushing, right? I got to keep it going. Also, maybe I'm blessed. I have a loving wife, a loving relationship with my wife, and I get a lot of sense of fulfillment there. I think the only thing, circling back a little bit to what we were saying with some of the body positivity stuff, is I just feel like for sure being thick can be attractive and all that good stuff, and heavy people can be beautiful and all that stuff. I just worry with people never really realize what they're doing to their 35 and 45 and 55-year-old self when they're 25 and just living it up, writing checks that they're going to have to cash out later. And I guess that's my biggest pushback to it is, the it it the quality of life, and especially if it is someone that just keeps slipping further and further unhealthy, the quality of not being able to you know do all the things you'd like to do. Like, this is silly. I saw a post of yours recently where you were sitting in a booth and like, hey dude, I'm back in booths again. I think I'm near being back in booths again. I haven't been in booths for a long time. It's frustrating when you go to a restaurant and you can't fit in a booth and you're like, oh wow. Or I remember going to a friend's bachelor party and they went and they did go-karts that night and I was like, oh, my butt's too wide. I can't fit in this go-kart. And I'm not necessarily one of those persons that, I mean, yeah, like I'm in a 5X t-shirt right now. I'm so grateful that there's 5X t-shirts. I'm so grateful that there's 9X t-shirts. I don't want obese people to be ostracized and pushed out of society because the world is just too small for us to exist in. But also at the same time, I don't think that there necessarily needs to be a roller coaster that's rated to carry a 500-pound person, right? You know what I mean? So there's a nuance and a balance to it all. Do you have any opinions on like some of these hot topics like travel accommodations, or maybe even like right now, I'm in like a 400-pound rated office chair. I don't know if they made office chairs that could, 20 years ago, so I'm grateful that I'm sitting in a 400-pound office chair right now. What's your thoughts on some of that stuff?
I don't think society should accommodate it. It's something that you have done to yourself, and you have to live with what you've put your limitations to, and you have to deal with that. Society didn't make you that way. Southwest Airlines did not make you 500, 600, 700, 400 pounds where you can't fit in a chair and you have to buy two chairs. And it's not their responsibility to accommodate you for that. It's not a restaurant's responsibility to accommodate a heavy person, because you couldn't stop doing what you were doing to yourself to get to that point where you could not fit in normal circumstances of life. So therefore, I don't think that society should accommodate anything. I think that you've put yourself in that situation and you need to get yourself out of that situation if you want to feel comfortable in society. If not, then you're going to have to wait for the table at the restaurants until there's one open. And you're going to have to buy the 2 seats in the airlines until you do something about it. And you're going to have to buy the bigger car or whatever so you can fit, so you can do the things. And you're going to have to go to the grocery store in your little bucket because that's the way it is. And you have chosen that. Therefore, nobody should accommodate you for that. If there's somebody that's extremely anorexic and they are too small to fit in certain things, or can't be in a car because they might break their bones or something, they're not looking for somebody to accommodate them for that. And I just think that we get ourselves in predicaments and we get ourselves in situations and it becomes a poor woe's me. And it's like, oh, look at me, I can't fit in this chair. Oh, look at me, I can't do this. Oh, look at me, I can't do that. And it's because Applebee's didn't want to get a booth for, or, a regular big booth for me so I could sit, or Southwest Airlines didn't want to put, bigger seats so that I can fit. Well, that's not their job. It's your job when you get to a certain point. And if you're those people that want to travel when you're heavy, or you want to go out and you want to do things, then you know what? You can't expect society to fix it for you. You've got to fix it yourself. And trust me, I have been the person that's had to wait for the big bathroom because I couldn't get in the bathroom. I've been the person that's had to wait an hour for a table because I needed a table with chairs instead of the booth. I'm the person that, hasn't flown very much in my adult life because it is hard. The only way I could fly is if I took my daughter with me, because then we lift the little armrest up and I could
Mhm.
overlap in her chair a little bit. Do you see
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Totally.
And I mean, so I am the person but I have never one time said, oh, you don't have this for me because I created this for myself, but you don't have this to accommodate me. So therefore, it's your fault. No, it's my fault. It's not your fault, you know? And I think some people and that makes excuses for people too. It's like, oh, I can't do this because I can't fit, or it doesn't accommodate me. Poor woes me. And then people feel a little bit sorry for you. And they're like, oh, it's okay. We'll just all hang out here tonight. We'll just sit on your couch and drink and have fun and watch movies and have popcorn or whatever, go make a fire or something, do whatever. Because, oh, poor you. And no, it's not poor you. You created that circumstance. In this case, you created that circumstance. And you need to uncreate it if you want to live a fulfilled life in society.
How do you take on these new challenges? Do you have like a fitness plan right now? Do you, or that you're starting from or moving using?
My everyday to day life changes just based on the day, what's going on around me. Therefore, I have to adapt to what's going on around me. Um, I do have I've been blessed to have a dear friend of mine that is a trainer, and he is certified, and he's certified for morbidly obese people too as well. So when I do work out with him, it's so I don't hurt my body. He would love to see me there 5 days a week to work out with him. Do I ever make it 5 days a week? No. Um, I make it 2 or 3, maybe 4. Have I made it 5 days? Yes, I have. Do I work out? Like, he's in Arizona now and I'm in Vegas right now. So he's given me some things to do here so that I don't hurt myself, so that I'm okay. But I don't think that I have a real regiment routine, just because when you are 5, 6, 700 pounds, your day changes based on what your body is feeling. There's some days my body feels like it can run a marathon and I can maybe try to walk around a block, but there are some days where my body doesn't feel like I could do anything and I've got to just do a workout sitting down on a chair. So I don't really base it on I've got to do A, B, and C. I am learning that I am having to schedule my time and have more time blocking, just because I'm personally getting busier with things on the internet and in life in general, my job and everything else. And therefore I'm gonna have to have more of a schedule, which is a really hard thing for me to do mentally, because I grew up with such a regiment schedule. It was like I wasn't even allowed to take a nap growing up because it
Mm.
was so regiment and we were always on a schedule, 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 schedule. Therefore, I grew up as an adult, never wanted a schedule, right?
Hmm.
But that's kind
Hmm.
of impossible because at work you got a schedule, right? You got schedules. So I think that I just take it day by day, minute by minute. Are there some days that I do plan things out and I stick to them? Yes, there are. But I just think everybody is different. You can't keep up with the Joneses. And I think on the internet and everything else in life, we watch all these people's stories, but those are just a glimpse of what's going on in their life. Those are just things that are just, you're not seeing the full picture, the full engagement, the full movie. You're only seeing a 5 seconds of that movie. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And therefore, you can't be like, I'm going to be like The Rock and work out like he does to keep that physique. That's impossible. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because you're not him. I mean, I'm not you. You're not me. So to say I'm going to do it like that, like this person that I'm watching, it's impossible. So I think you set false expectations for yourself at that point, and you need to do your own schedule and what works for you, and do your own hard thing mentally, physically, and spiritually, so that you can get to a healthier you.
Mm. Yeah, perfect. Is there any like for myself? I know maybe the biggest pro tip I've learned with dieting is I've started cooking a lot of meat ahead of time. Like right now, I think I have like 6 pounds of ground beef thawing in my stove right now because it's just this big chunk, and then I'm gonna cook it up. And something that I've learned to do is I'll strain my ground beef because I'll buy the cheapest, fattiest ground beef I can get, and then I'll strain it after I cook it just to seep out a lot of fat. It's almost like, I guess, remember like the George Foreman grills? Remember that was like one of the selling points is like the fat drains out the bottom and stuff like that. So I know for me, meal prepping and when I mean meal prepping, just cooking anywhere from 3 to 6 pounds of food. Sometimes I'll cook some chicken and I'll cook some beef at the same time, has been probably my biggest game changer as far as sticking to the diet. Is there anything that is there any like tips that you would recommend or things that you can advocate for that has really helped you stick with your diet?
I do believe in setting yourself up for success, whatever that may look like for you. Therefore, if it's having 6 pounds of ground beef cooked in your fridge so that you have something to go for instead of reaching for something else that's more convenient, like Ritz crackers or something,
Mm-hmm.
then I think that that works for you.
Exactly.
That's great. I think you'll find out what works for you. I know personally for me, it has been a little bit of meal prepping as well, just having a hard boiled egg in the fridge or having
Mm-hmm.
some chicken or fish or something easy, accessible, because that's what we're looking for. That's why we go to fast food, right? It's easy and accessible. And I think also, too, is leaving your credit card and cash unaccessible to you when you're driving by
In the
yourself. And
trunk.
therefore, yeah, you're not going to, it's not so easy to get to, right? And, but I think just trying to be mindful, if you are out and about, and unfortunately you have to eat. You can go to El Pollo Loco and get a chicken breast and some steamed broccoli, or you can stop in at Starbucks and get the egg whites, or you can go to Salads and Go and get a salad or a wrap. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there are healthier fast food options out there.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be mindful of them and find them.
You know what? I really have I similar to you. I think once I got on my own steam, like somewhere around 25, 26, I started eating a lot of fast food, and KFC used to be the place I'd go to if I wanted to get like some oven cooked chicken and some green beans, but they got rid of their
Grilled,
grilled chicken, and
it's gone.
it's
Yeah.
gone. And Popeyes crispy chicken sandwiches are so delicious and they win every time now. But there is an El Pollo Loco near me, and I'm gonna go try that out. That is
And if there isn't something by you, and let's just say KFC is your only option,
uh-huh.
in fact, the other day I hadn't eaten all day and I was starving and I had to make it to my cousin's house. And I was like, okay. So I stopped at KFC and I just took the skin off of
Yeah,
the chicken. And I
yeah.
took a napkin and literally just I took all the chicken off the bone and I just like went like this. I asked for extra napkins so they can get the excess oil as much as I could.
Mhm.
Now, and that's what I ate. And I didn't eat the a biscuit. I didn't get a biscuit. I didn't get a side with it. It was just the chicken. And that's what I did because I knew I needed something in me
Mhm.
and I knew I had to fuel my body, right?
Mhm.
Was it the best option? No. It was where I was at. It was the only thing by me, kind of thing, that or a McDonald's. So I chose the KFC because I knew it was going to be a little bit of a healthier option.
Mm.
So, and and when I say I took the skin off, I threw it out the window because I would have ate the skin
Sure.
eventually.
It
So
eventually
I
wins.
had to throw it out the window because if I
Right.
didn't, I was going to eat that skin. Do you know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so
Totally.
you have to, and I didn't get a soda. I got a cup of water, or
Uh-huh.
they gave me a bottle of water. And, you know, those things. So I think if you're in a situation where there isn't something that is extremely healthy, or you have to stop at a Mexican restaurant and, get a burrito, well, take it out of the, don't ask him for no tortilla, because then you only get a handful of meat.
Mm-hmm.
Ask for the full burrito is what I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
And then throw the tortilla out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So me, I'm just feeding birds and animals, because I'm literally throwing these things
That's
out the
great.
window.
That's so great.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I always thought to myself, well, if a cop, comes and says something to me, I'm going to be like, well, you see, it's just food, first off. So
Yeah.
some creature is going to eat it. But secondly, um, I can't eat it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And I don't have the willpower to not eat it.
You know,
So,
you actually bring up something that I'd like to bring up. Let me throw this by you. I have determined two different food drives in my body. Okay. I feel like there's hunger, and I experience hunger when I get a little rumble in the tummy, right? Sometimes maybe even a tiny bit of nauseousness comes with it, but that is when I feel like tiny little tummy pains, I go, "Oh, I'm hungry." But when I experience wanting food from back here in my brain, and it's like, "Oh man, a fucking burrito would sound amazing." Excuse my language. I hope that doesn't offend you the wrong way. But and it's almost like a tingle, and it's and it unlike hunger comes and goes in like 10 minutes. This thing will stick around for a couple of hours unless I find something to push it off, and I call that my appetite. And would you resonate with any of that?
well, I can totally resonate with that. In fact, I remember the first time I actually felt it, well, in my adult life, when I felt a hunger pain again, because I had backed off eating so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, wow, I forgot what that feeling was like. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, my mind does tell me that I need something more than what my body is actually craving. And it does not go away. And it's something that you just have to push through. And it's something, my thing is soda right now. My mind is telling me I need a soda. I have to have that soda. And sometimes do I give into it and I'll just take a drink of soda and then throw the soda away? Yeah. But sometimes I don't, and it's just a matter of, you have to overcome that. And I don't think anybody has the answers for that, because that's the addiction part. That's no different than a drug addict or an alcoholic saying they need that their body's physically craving it sometimes, but their mind is telling them that they need it, which makes their body even yearn for it more. And that's how it is with food. Like, my favorite thing is, I love hamburgers, and I have not found a hamburger joint that I did not like their hamburgers, except for Whataburger. I don't really care for theirs. But so I love hamburgers, and I can drive down a road and see Burger King, and I will start to want that Burger King and crave it. So yeah, it is something that you have to fight mentally, and you have to push through it and not give in to that temptation. And I know the more that I don't give into temptation, the less that comes to me, but it still comes. And it's probably something I will mentally battle for the rest of my life. And it's just going to have to be that battle. It's like the little devil and angel on your shoulder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, it's like, Burger King and McDonald's on my shoulder. And they're like, or like Burger King, and let's just say salads to go.
Burger
Salads to
King.
go. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you want this because this is what you're going to feel good. But Burger
Right.
King is like, come have a Hershey pie and a double Whopper and some fries and a Coke, and you're going to feel so satisfied. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, my body is going to feel great because I ate it. I'm going to feel great. But then afterwards, I'm going to feel like crap.
Yeah.
And I know that. Where the salad is going to be satisfying and I love it. But I know a few hours down the road, I'm going to feel good still.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wake up feeling good and not feeling drugged, like the food hangover, just like a regular hangover. I mean, there is a such thing as called food hangover.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I don't like that feeling. And I have to remember that. So I try to keep that in my foremind when my back of my mind is telling me I need and I want.
Yeah, and I would love to hope that it goes away, but I think even if it doesn't go away, like you said, it's hard to push that off, but the more we push that off, the stronger we get. And I think hopefully it'll be something that we do less and less, because um man, the appetite fights can be vicious sometimes. It can
Mhm.
absolutely be vicious. And people have I've seen people with a lot of different strategies. Some people, it's almost like you said, would just find what works for you. I've seen people say abstain, 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 never give into it. I've seen people say schedule it, have a once a week rendezvous with your food love. I've seen people say, hey, if it's not your someone's birthday or your anniversary or Christmas, you know, what are you doing? That's kind of where I want to apply. That would be the standard I would love to stick with. Is it Thanksgiving? Is it Christmas? Is it one of my kids' birthday? If I'm not really celebrating, I don't really need fun food. I'd even throw in the Super Bowl for some fun food, but I don't necessarily think I don't do well with fun food in my life very often. Because it just once I crack the faucet, it just seems to want to go more, more, and more and more. So, anyways, I mean, that was an amazing conversation. I appreciate everything that you've shared. Your maturity as far as not letting what other people think about what you're doing. I think that's an important skill for everybody to have right now, because we seem to be like, I have kids. I don't even let my kids on social media yet, because the noise crashing in can be so loud with that. But having that sense of like, hey, that's them. They don't know me. They don't know what I've been through. They're just here because they're trying to get a reaction. And I don't want to give it to you. I tell my youngest kid, don't let other kids push your buttons, right? And
Mhm.
that's, I think, as an adult, we need to remember, don't let other people push your buttons. Is there anything that you could any like if you had something that you could go back and tell your younger self when you were 23, 24, before things started to get bigger or busier and you started adding the weight, is there anything you could go back and tell that person that maybe you could um share with someone else, that to sort of help them circumvent having this such a weight loss journey, where you have to come back from so far? Is there any advice that you would share?
I think it wouldn't be to my younger self. I think it would be to somebody that is just starting to put the pounds on. And I've
Mm-hmm.
said it before to people in certain videos of something that I've struggled with. And I'm like, stop. Before you get to a point where you cannot physically or mentally keep going, you don't want to get there. You don't want to get to where you can't shower yourself like I did, where you can't climb the stairs anymore to get up to your bedroom and you have to sleep on a mattress on the floor. You don't want to get to the point where your life is kind of like what you see on 600-Pound Life, and you can't live a quality of life. No matter what you're facing, you want to stop. Just stop, because it's not going to get better. It's not going to get easier. And you're not just going to be able to wake up one day and be like, I'm going to rejoin life, because that's what I thought. I thought I was just going to be able to quit and rejoin life. And I didn't realize what physically I had done to my body, because I wasn't out there trying to walk. I wasn't out there trying to do a jumping jack. I wasn't out there trying to climb a mountain. I was out there just living life at the basics. So I would say stop. Look at yourself, sincerely look at yourself, and figure out why, first off, mentally, emotionally, that you're doing what you're doing to your body, but stop. And I wouldn't really have any advice for my younger self, because this is what I created the circumstances for myself, and I'm having to undo the circumstances for myself. And I am who I am because of where I was. Therefore, I don't have regrets for what I've done. If I could go back, I would probably change not getting to 730 pounds, but then would I? Because mentally, I still would have been the same person. So I've had to evolve and grow into who I am today
Mm-hmm.
in order to help myself, to help others, to do the hard things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would just tell people, and I've told them before, stop. You see me, you see what I look like, you see the trials that I have getting up off a floor or rolling around on a deck because I physically couldn't get off and I had to be rolled into the water in order to get to land. you see what I've done to myself. And if you don't want to be like that, then look at yourself sincerely in the mirror and you change now and you stop.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Can we end it there? Are you okay with ending it there?
Yeah, I'm good.
That was such a, so well said. Is how can people like, I think, I think everyone knows who you are, or they should know who you are. But if people don't, how would they find you? How do they best keep in, sharing your story?
I think Instagram right now is probably the easiest way to find me, or TikTok. TikTok, I'm still kind of learning. I have a lot of people that have asked me to be on TikTok, and I'm not a ticker talker. I'm not a dancer. So, but TikTok is so much more than that. Do you know what I mean? So I
Uh-huh.
would say that my Instagram, new Nikki 300 is how you would find me, and then TikTok is, I think, new Nikki 730. So I'm also on Facebook under Nikki Aguayo if you want to look there. But the majority of the story right now is on Instagram. Um,
Awesome.
just because I have so many people that inspire me on Instagram to keep going, and have so many people that are looking for me to fill on Instagram too. So it's a catch 22. So I think that's the best way to probably find me. And just remember to always do your hard things, whatever they may look like.
I appreciate you so much taking this time to talk with me.
No problem. Thank you. It's been great.
Thank you. And I will contact you shortly. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Have a
Take
great
care of
day.
yourself. All right. Bye.